We are live and in person. This is the Fort Valley Boys podcast. I am Fabian Biggs. Ryan will join me with a few other special guests. And on this hot episode, we're going to recap the draft. We're going to talk about the trades that went down on Thursday, which and what implications they may have on the league going forward for next year. We're also going to do a movie review. Cult classic, one of my favorite movies, and my kids love this movie. My older kids, The Last Dragon, is a movie we definitely going to do tonight. And of course, this is the part of the show I say, let's go.
Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Boys, yeah. Hold on. We them boys. Hold on. We them boys.
And this is the Fort Valley Boys podcast. We are live on Sunday. I know the BET Awards on tonight, but I don't really watch award shows like that. Some of them I do. This one, BET, music is different now, but I watch it. Of course, we're on Sundays and Wednesdays at 9:05 p.m. We're brought to you by Crazy Straws. Be crazy, you got straws. Get you a crazy straw. Brought to you by Just for Men. You got some gray in your beard and you need to get it out. Go to your local Walgreens or Dollar General. Get your box of Just for Men. Brush it in. Get all the gray out. Just for Men. Find at your local stores. We're also brought to you by Dax Wave and Groom. If you have waves or you're trying to get waves or trying to keep your waves, Dax Wave and Groom pomade in the red can. You get it from any beauty shop or Dollar General, Family Dollar, Walmart, even Walgreens. I'll get it from somewhere else that's a little bit cheaper. If you don't go to Walgreens, they're very expensive. Get your wave straight, especially if you got a fresh cut. Get your wave cap, good to go. Dax Wave and Groom. Damon sponsor Arizona Tea. If you buy Arizona Tea, one is still 99 cents, and it'll give you diabetes in 3 minutes. So if you want those struggles with diabetes or whatnot, go ahead and get you some. Get you a can of that. We follow us on YouTube and Facebook for Valley Boys Podcast. BuyANiceShirt.com. If you are part of the Greek family, if you want to divine 9 members, or you went to HBC, or you did both, Bernard Ingram has all your merch for you, especially with college football season about to crank up in about 2.5 months. Homecoming will be coming around the corner October, November. Go ahead and get your merchandise for homecoming. They got everything from FAMU to Alabama A&M. A&M will be one of his schools he's going to be creating merch for this fall. So if you're an alumnus from Alabama A&M, go ahead and get your stuff from there. BuyANiceShirt.com. Damon's podcast, Chopping It Up. Support D. Randall. That's our guy. He doing the thing with his podcast. I enjoy it. And the intro is lit. The intro is really lit. Let's go ahead and listen to that joke. It's a good podcast. It's a good podcast. Chopping It Up. Drop episodes on Tuesday, Wednesday. There's a weekly episode. Check our boy out. And of course, our favorite sponsor, of course, Henny and Coke, Farrow XO and Ginger Ale, the Dark Liquors. The Dark Liquors. Go ahead and get you some of that. Copy some of that right there. Copy some of that. Like I said, some of y'all might be watching BET Awards and enjoying it. Y'all go ahead and enjoy it. I got it on DVR. I'll fast forward through some stuff. catch or whatnot. But we're gonna talk about. I want to start with the NBA trades that happened over last week. I want to start with this Celtics trade. They're trading Marcus Smart to the Memphis Grizzlies. Before we go on to get Ryan in, Big Straw.
What is going on, good people?
Big Straw is back. He got a noir look, a little black and white. Had a noir look. How's man? How been, man?
Man, everything's good, man. Everything is good. Beautiful weekend this weekend. Had a chance to go to Jackson, Mississippi, and go to a Comic-Con and meet Bret the Hitman Hart.
Ooh, that one of my favorite wrestlers, him and the brother Hart.
Yeah, I ended up getting his autograph and everything, and we chopped it up for a quick second and everything. So it was good, man. Good weekend.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. I want to start with the NBA trades. I want to start with the Celtics three-way trade. Celtics get rid of Marcus. Well, yeah, you can say get rid of. That's a bad word. So we'll say they're trading Marcus Smart to the Memphis Grizzlies. Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala are going to the Wizards. Tyus Jones is also going to the Wizards, and 2 first-round picks from the Grizzlies are going to the Celtics, and the Celtics are getting Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn. How do you rate that trade?
At the very best, I think it's probably a B-.
For all 3 teams or just a specific team?
I think as far as like the Celtics, they get the unicorn. That's a B. Grizzlies, that's a B. Everybody else is a little lower than that. I think that while they do get a lot of when healthy, while the Celtics do get a lot of scoring and a lot of versatility, they lost leadership when they let Marcus Smart leave. Okay. Now that is going to help the Grizzlies considering the Josh situation, 25 games. But I mean, still, man, that's crazy. That is crazy to even and then you gave away a couple of first rounders too.
No, they're getting first rounders. They're getting 2 from Memphis.
No, I'm saying Memphis is giving away first rounders.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I think if anything, I think the team that probably won would have been the Wizards. They got multiple first round draft picks from now to 2031.
I just see why the Celtics moved Marcus Smart, because think about it. If you got Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon was not part of their closing lineup, and he's more of a floor general than Marcus. Because Marcus, If you look at Marcus, he's not a point guard. He's not a shooting guard.
Right.
In college, he was a shooting guard. I don't know how, but he couldn't shoot. He was just a basketball player. He was defensive player of the year the previous season. If you look at his metrics, his numbers have dropped. But at the same time, they buy insurance for Ja Morant. You also bringing in maturity to that team. You wanted maturity. Mm-hmm. You got maturity. And think about it. You got the current defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson Jr., and you got the previous defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart. So your backcourt is set. Your front court is going to be solid because Steven Adams is coming back. Brandon Clark is going to probably not play next year because of the Achilles. If he come back, it's going to be late in the season. I will limit his minutes. So
and then I mean, when you have lower leg injuries, you're not going to be the same player you were. Because I mean, look at Clay. When Clay went down with those multiple injuries, it took him almost 2 years to come back. Mm-hmm. And that's something else. That's something else. I agree it does strengthen the Grizzlies, but my thing is, you've gotten. I mean, is he gonna want to play there? That's my thing. Is he gonna be invested? It's the jury's still out on this one because I don't know if he really gonna want to play there.
I mean, he ain't got much of a choice unless he want to retire. I mean, I'm looking up his contract now, so I'm gonna see how many years he has left on his deal. Let me look at the salary cap. But while I'm pulling this up, the Wizards have broken this thing down to the stud, just about to the studs, but no draft capital. Well, no draft capital really.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for them to. It's gonna be hard for the Wizards. They're gonna bottom feed for a minute until you can get some viable trades. And I think that's what they're doing is getting trade capital. All those picks they're not going to use. Of course, they're not going to use all those picks. They're going to eventually send some off for some bigger name players, and try to make a run at it. This is just them throwing the towel in and trying to rebuild right now. This is just you said broken down to the studs. Yeah, we down to the foundation now. We got to come back.
And we haven't got to the Chris Paul trade yet. We're gonna get to that in a second. And looking at Marcus Smart, it says on here his last year of his contract with this past season, which makes no sense. Which means unless there's an option just not listed on here, it's probably around 18, 19 million. So you freed up that money, but you brought in Porzingis, but his contract is expiring.
Right.
You got rid of Marcus Smart, you got rid of Danilo Gallinari, who was at about 8 million, and you also got rid of Mike Muscala, who was at about 3.5 million. So it balances out. We lost Ryan. He'll be back in a minute. When you look at the salaries, this is basically a salary dump so they can try to re-sign Grant Williams. And if I'm the Celtics, would I want Grant Williams back, and where would he fall in line at? We got Straw back now.
I don't know what happened that time.
I don't know. I was just saying, like, they freed up cap to bring Porzingis because that's the expiring contract.
Right.
But then I know Grant Williams is a restricted free agent, and the way his year was up and down this year, and he lost some playing time during the middle of the year. Do you want to bring him back, Straw?
Grant Williams is that hard-working guy that's going, he going to give you something when he's healthy. He just got to get some consistency. So, I mean, if you're going to bring him back at a lower price tag, yeah, bring him back because you're going to need some toughness. That's that, and I keep saying toughness, and I like Porzingis, but man, you saw what in limited time what Miami did to you. Is that enough to get you over the hump? I mean, we'll see, but I don't see it. I like the move because you got him, Tatum, and you got Brown. But man, that's something else. That's a lot.
Yeah, 36 million. You get freed it up. I think you would bring Grant back for a 3-year, 17 million with a player option on the third year. That's what I would do. Mm-hmm. This is his strongest year. He played 65 games, which what most stars are usually playing now, unless you like Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson or somebody that just play every game.
Right.
He 23 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, some blocks. I think they did it to get a little bit younger on that front court because and it's bad to say he's more reliable than Robert Williams III, and that's bad. Robert Williams III is way less available than Porzingis has been in his career.
Well, I mean, we got to remember that Porzingis is still young. He's still a young guy.
Yeah, 27, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, he hadn't hit 30 yet. So I think this is their way of throwing it all into one basket and trying to get that championship. It's almost going around. It's almost trying to go around the back of the barn and get in that way versus the front door being completely wide open. Seems to me, man, it's crazy. Porzingis, for all of his time in New York, and then his time that you would have thought they would have did better in Dallas. This is. I don't know if it's a. I'm not trying to knock him because I like his game. I like his skill set. I don't know if he's really the answer.
Looking at his basketball reference page, he missed the 2018-19 season with a torn ACL. In New York, he basically was a 20-point a game scorer in New York. He averaged 20 points. It's just the availability, which is the best ability. And like I said, the season he was in Dallas, he played 51 games. He played 51 games in Dallas. 51 games total that season. Then make sure I'm looking at this right. Yep. He was traded to Dallas in 2019. 2019-20 season. Played 57 games. Then the next season, 43. And then not this past season, but last season, he played 51 games combined with Dallas and Washington. And then played 65 this year. So if you really look at it, it's the first time he played over 60 games since his second year in the league. But he's been productive despite that. And we count the cost also. He had it was a bad ownership, a bad leadership with Phil Jackson running the show.
Yeah.
In New York. And Carmelo just seemed like it wasn't a good fit. You just had a taller version of him who played a little bit more defense than Carmelo.
Yeah.
And I think the Celtics with Porzingis, you have him and Tatum and Jalen. That's your front court. Then you could probably start. You could have Brogdon and probably White start. I would guess you could do it like that if you want to go to a small ball lineup, or you have Porzingis and Williams start.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Tatum, then Brown and Brogdon, and then bring White and whoever else off the bench. And if you in low key, White and Horford, that's 7. You're and maybe Peyton Pritchard get some more burn this year, Luke Cornett, but and Sam Hauser. Their bench is low key thin. It's low key thin now.
They're gonna have to. I mean, they're gonna have to do something, in my opinion. It's gonna have to be something gonna have to be done, or it's not gonna be worth the time or the trade. I mean, it's man. We'll see. That was an interesting trade. I give it a B-. Teams got stronger. Teams got more capital. But we'll see because we still got free agency. We still got to go through. Still a lot of teams haven't gotten bodies, so we'll see how that works.
Yeah, it's a little thinner free agency market this year, especially with that salary cap with the second apron, where they're talking about which won't kick in this year, but it will kick in the following year, which is why you saw teams like Golden State, be honest with you, Boston making this move. And the Nuggets made a trade during the finals to try to deepen their bench because they got a feeling they won't be able to keep Bruce Brown.
Right.
And Bruce Brown, really, if he wants to leave, a place for him to go. I'm sounding like somebody that's a Laker fan. I grew up a Lakers fan, but that'll be a good fit for him.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and option out of Malik Beasley's contract because it's a team option. $17 million. I will opt out of that with the quickness. Mo Bamba, you gotta re-sign him because he didn't really show what he could do. He's a guy that's a big and can shoot threes.
Yeah,
he could spell Anthony Davis on. And if I'm the Lakers, I would go ahead and re-sign Rui, Reeves. I'll try to get Brandon Brown, and I'll try to get Brook Lopez. I know I've been saying his name a lot over the last month. But Brook Lopez is a valuable center who's transformed his game. He could shoot threes and play defense and can move. And he's mobile at his age.
Yeah.
But if I'm Milwaukee, you got to do everything you can to get him, sign him back. Now, the second trade that happened on draft day was Chris Paul going to Golden State for Jordan Poole.
That one's got some legs on it, meaning folks are still talking about that one.
Oh, hold on, we got a shot on. He probably might shot. You guys are breaking news for a shot. You guys are breaking news. He probably can't hear.
What's the
you
news? What's the business? What the business? You got some? Ask him again, Faye.
You guys breaking news about Damian Lillard yet? You guys breaking news yet?
Man, if there was breaking news about Damian Lillard, y'all would be breaking news about me. Man, I've been crying for Damian Lillard for about 3 years now. It seems like.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts right quick for about that Celtics trade. Marcus Smart going to Memphis, Porzingis going to the Celtics, and then Tyus Jones going to the Wizards.
Well, Marcus Smart going to Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need somebody with some championship pedigree to talk to Ja. That's what he in my opinion, that's what he's going over there for, to calm things down. A guy that used to be a hothead. Remember him coming out of Kansas State, right?
No, it was Oklahoma State.
Hey.
Oklahoma State, my fault. I knew it was a state. Him like elbowing the fan or something like that. Remember he had to repair his image. So when you talk about Marcus Smart, you don't really talk about that now. You talk about the hustle and bustle. Him being, managing those two wing guys on the side of him, being a consummate role player. Mm-hmm. And basically he's the reason why the Celtics lost the series. Not necessarily his fault, but when he's clicking, it's easier for them to get buckets. And so I felt like because Marcus Smart wasn't clicking, knocking down threes at a 40% clip, then that made it difficult for the Celtics and made it easier for the Heat to defend. If I'm not mistaken, Game 4 was the game when we thought that the Heat was going to go ahead and sweep them. Is the game that he knocked down maybe 3-4 threes, and then him and the light-skinned dude Marcus Williams started clicking, and then now Jason Tatum started getting in his bag, and
gotta get shots
more so than what happened.
You froze for a second. I said we gotta get you some good internet.
Yeah, my internet is down. I'm actually on the phone, so
Yeah, my son was down there today in the airport because his flight got canceled. He was supposed to have been going to Orlando, but get up this morning. They canceled his flight, and he ended up there with you for a little while. Now he just leaving Miami, heading back up to Orlando.
Okay, so I hope he didn't buy no shot glass or no souvenir like a lot of people do. When you in the airport, you're not in the city. Don't do that.
No. It was I don't know if I've told this story. My son just graduated high school, and his mom wanted to take him to the Magic Kingdom to see the Star Wars thing. He's a big Star Wars fan, so they did that this morning. But that's just one of them things. I don't know what it is about the airlines right now, but they are horrible. Right now they are horrible.
Yeah. Nah, I only said that because I'm about to fly out to the West Coast, and we got a layover in LA. And I was actually saying to myself, don't you can't tell nobody you was in LA if your behind ain't leave the airport. So I was telling you, I was saying to myself, people do that. People talking about, they was in LA. No, you had a layover.
Yeah.
It's a difference. Don't check that off the list. When Facebook do the survey of the states that you've been in, if you ain't leave the airport, don't do that.
Oh yeah.
I had a layover in Ohio one time. I said, don't you pick up one of them shot glasses. We are not in Ohio.
Nah, he don't collect
like that. Of Ohio.
LA something special, man. LA is so special.
I've only been to LA one time. A couple of years ago, I went to Napa Valley, and we didn't land in LA. We landed in San Francisco. I can't say how many times I've been to LA, but leaving the airport don't count. Because in that case, everybody been to Atlanta.
At least once.
Yeah,
Real.
I lived in San Diego for a couple years. My dad was stationed out there. Went to a Padre game. Went to conference L.A. right by the Staples Center. When I mean, if the cost of living was manageable out there, y'all never see me in Georgia again. It's hard for you.
Yeah,
Never
it's
see
hard.
me. I'm like, I loved it. Didn't rain not one time. Not one time.
Now you can do it. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said didn't rain not one time while I was out there for conference. Not one time.
It never rains in Southern California.
Yeah. But then it'll get to 60 degrees at night.
That's better than
part of the issue is the change. Like y'all can do what Kenny Moon did. Kenny Moon had a 5-hour layover in Miami, and me and Tiny Head went to go get him. We went to the and then brought him back. Mm-hmm. That was it. Yeah. Then brought him back. Yeah, that happened. My fault. I'm tripping.
No, you good. You good. It's family show. We good. You safe space. It's a safe space. So Marcus Smart bringing maturity to the Grizzlies. What does Porzingis bring to the Celtics? Shot.
I'd be lying. I could sit up here and talk for about 20 seconds and act like I know. I don't. Like height, if he's available during playoff time. Maybe they want him to do the Al Horford role. I mean, when he's on, I don't know. If you're gonna pick up Porzingis, then you might as well just go ahead and Kawhi Leonard him, and that is a new dictionary term for people that do game management. You might as well just go ahead and Kawhi Leonard him and see if you could have him coming in the last 20 games to gel with the team before the playoffs and see if you can do that. I'm assuming they got him to bang with Giannis, to make it difficult for Giannis. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, so, younger version of Horford, like you said. I think Horford's getting 37, and yeah, he's going to have to come off the bench this year, though. And plus, I think it's the free up cap space because it's an expiring contract. So I don't know what because they also got to sign Jaylen Brown to that Supermax. They're going to give it to him more than likely, and they need that room after Porzingis' contract goes out to try to sign him to that. So
that's a good topic. Would you give Jaylen Brown the Supermax?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's ask that now then. Would you give him the Supermax?
You asking me?
Yeah, would you give it to him?
Hell no. No.
I mean, I wouldn't give him Supermax. I would give him some money, but it wouldn't be no Supermax deal. Because I mean that you got the max, then you got the Supermax. So I mean, I would give him some good money, but it ain't gonna be no Supermax deal. He ain't no Supermax player.
Well, he's all NBA. So if he's all NBA, then technically he has to be paid the Supermax.
No, they have the option to pay it to him. They don't have to give it to him. He can get up to the max. Just like Ja, he was all NBA not last season, but the previous season. But that money didn't kick in because the shit that happened at the end of the year.
Okay.
But what if I told you they could trade him to Portland to get shots? Close friend Damian Lillard with Jaylen Brown straight up.
I would cry.
Yeah.
I would protest. The Constitution says I have the right to protest.
You do. First Amendment right.
I don't think anybody would give Jaylen Brown the Supermax.
He still ain't got a left hand. He still don't have a left hand after the finals last year. He still ain't worked on his left hand. Still ain't worked on it.
Right. So let's put that in context. For Jaylen Brown to be all NBA second team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for him to not have an adequate enough left hand, you still talking about somebody that averaged 26?
26, yeah.
With quote unquote no left hand, which he has a left hand. It's, you know, sometimes it comes and goes. But I agree with what you're saying. So if you're averaging 26, 27 points a game and your left hand is shaky, ask yourself how freakish of an athlete this guy must be to be able to still average 27 with a left hand that comes and goes. That is the Jaylen Brown dilemma for him. He is arguably, and I barely even know. I'm just putting in the context of NBA guy. He has to be probably one of the top 2-3% of the freakish athletes on earth.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Left hand and still average 27.
27, 7, and 3. Was averages 34% from 3, 48% from the field. And I hate to say that I like Marcus Smart. I like his heart. I like his tenacity. I like the will he has. I just think Malcolm Brogdon will put them in better spots to score.
Yeah, but think about what you're giving up now. That's a dog.
Yeah,
that's a DAWG dog. that knows his role, that plays his role. You know, again, coming out of Oak State with those comments and going to the Celtics and basically just being, you know, playing his position, understanding his role, like, you know, that don't come around often. Why you think Patrick Beverly's still in the league?
Smart had to pretty much reinvent himself and keep his nose clean the whole time from day one, because he already had a stigma of being a malcontent coming in.
Right. Exactly.
We won't know how this trade shakes down until at least the postseason. I want to see how this is going to match, because it seems like it's more offense. And I was telling Straw, Porzingis seemed like he's gonna be more available than Robert Williams III, and that's bad right there. With two people that ain't available, and he could be more available than Robert Williams III. So I mean, but then next thing is who's gonna take a back seat somewhat for Porzingis. He gave you 26 last year. Tatum gave you 30. Jaylen Brown gave you 26. Brogdon gave you 17. Horford gave you 12. And your bench is already thin now because Grant Williams is a restricted free agent. So that's gonna be the question that we're gonna have to be answered during next season though.
Okay.
Now let's get to the other trade that I'm still trying to figure out what the hell. Chris Paul going to Golden State for Jordan Poole. We know why there are two reasons why Jordan Poole got traded. Y'all know what they are. Y'all know what they are, right?
Is it in one name?
No, well, there's two. No, one of the reasons why is one name. And the other reason why
he got traded.
Oh, two reasons. They needed that money freed up so they could re-sign Draymond.
Well, that's it then.
No,
that is the whole thing. Let's be for real. He got into a fight with Draymond
because
they freeing up cap room for Draymond. So that's it.
I think it's more to it than that.
It is. I think it is. Go ahead, Sean.
I think there was a combination of, so are you saying two words? My two words would be Steph Curry. That would be my two words, because Jordan Poole did not make the Golden State Warriors have to make a tough decision based on his playoff performance.
Right.
Had he gone out there and been the Jordan Poole that earned the money that he got, then they would have had a tougher choice. He wasn't playing well. He still wasn't rocking with Draymond, which nobody disagrees with him on that except Chris Paul. You know, like he basically like, listen, bro, I'm doing this for the team, but don't sit up here and ask me to high five with this dude. I think everybody done been in a situation like that. You know, you might not have been punched in the face, but somebody done tried you, and for the sake of the team, or the company or the job or the project, you're gonna put that aside, but don't dap me up like we cool every chance you get. We not. So don't blame Jordan Poole for as we would say, keeping it 100, keeping it 1,000, $1, and all that other stuff. But if you gonna do that, then you got to go perform. Had he performed, he would have made it harder for, Warriors GM, whoever that is, Dunleavy or whoever was at the time.
Dunleavy now, yeah.
Yeah, he would have made it harder for them to make that decision.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think if Poole would have showed out, never made it to the conference final with big contributions from Poole, I think you could make the conversation to possibly trade Clay. I mean, you could. I'm not saying I would. I'm gonna say that's a conversation. I'm saying that's gonna be definitive. I would look at it because Clay looked like a shell of himself against the Lakers. He looked bad against the Lakers. The latter part of the series with Sacramento, he didn't look good. Tell me if I'm wrong.
The conversation will be there, but I mean, if you're gonna stay on that team, man, and they are they have championship pedigree, man. So I'm like, they got a championship thing going, and you didn't come through. Yeah, I agree with you.
He averaged 16 points, 4.5 rebounds versus the Lakers in the semifinal. If you look at shooting splits, 34% from the field, 38% from three. Plus minus was -9 throughout the whole series. Game 3 was a -23. Game 6, -33. Plus minus splits. That series is off. If I go back to, I'm on StatMuse. If anybody's asking for verification, StatMuse. Just change that right there. Against the Kings was a little bit better. 20 points, 3 rebounds, shooting splits 35% for 3, 42% from the field. His plus minus was 29, but he had some big negatives. So game 1 and 2, he was -25 combined. Game 6, he was -28. So just looking at the splits, they weren't there. He was hit and miss during the playoffs. But like I said, it's 2 years from both those leg injuries. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back with a vengeance next year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait shot to come back in, but the money for Draymond and his performance, and the fact that was money and Draymond. They're tied in together in the same. But Clay gonna bring shot right back in right quick.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just saying Clay's shooting splits were a little bit better against the Kings, but it was like 42% from the field, 38% for 3. Lakers, they were like 38 and 35. And his plus minus was all over the place on all those games. And it's 2 years from the leg injuries. I think next year he'll be back to Clay because he's 2 years removed from when he tore his Achilles, 3 years removed from his knee. But Jordan Poole gonna get as many shots he won in Washington. They're gonna win by 15 games.
I think they also. I don't think they had. I'm not gonna say never had. I think giving him the contract was just to buy them time to ease, soften the blow of what happened in the preseason. And I think they was trying to squeeze a championship out of that.
He got the money. He got the money before the punch.
No,
he got the money before the punch, and
no,
when the
he
punch
did not.
happened, he got the money before the punch. He signed that. He got that deal.
I'm pretty sure he got the money after the punch. I remember even putting something in the chat saying when we was joking, and he was like, what happened? I don't know what y'all talking about. He got punched, and then they gave him that money. I'm like 95% sure. He got punched, then they gave him the money. Where's Anatoly?
He might be watching the BET Award. October 15th was the day he signed the contract. Let me see. Punch. Let me look at the punch. You might be right, but I thought he got it before the punch. You probably all right.
I'm like 99% sure.
Yeah, it was after. It was about a week after the punch.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was right before, because I know he would brag. I know he was talking about, he was bragging about, I'm gonna get my money. You make 9 points, 9 points. You're a triple.
Right. Right. He was bragging about he about to get his money.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I drank my
this
cold
was the pay year. This was the contract year, and everybody was talking about him getting his $100 million, and they were saying that probably got to his head. Then remember, he hit him, and they was like, you know, there's no way he's signing with the Warriors now. And then the Warriors went on ahead and gave him that money. So I said that because I think they were trying to smooth that over to sneak in another championship. And then at that point, it really don't matter which one of them y'all let go. Whether you let go Draymond or whatever, Draymond would have been, what, a 5-time champion?
Yeah.
Then they could have moved on from that. But Poole didn't allow that.
What would they gave Wiggins his money? They gave Wiggins his money first, then went back. That's what it was. They gave Wiggins the money first. You know, they signed Wiggins to the extension.
Okay.
And he played well in the finals. I just think when he missed those 3-4 months dealing with his wife cheating on him, I think that's what kind of been a downturn of him, because he wasn't back to who he was the season before. But I want to turn to Chris Paul. Chris Paul's not going to start on this team unless somebody injured or load management.
But in my opinion, that's perfect for him. I mean, he's the grand old man of the NBA right now. So, I mean, that's good. That's, in my opinion, that's a good thing. I think he's going to be effective coming off the bench. But as long as he comes in wanting to help that team win, if he comes in wanting to help that team win, then yeah, that's a good thing. And you have to, you got to accept your role. You're the grand old man of the NBA, the president of the Players Union. Go ahead and accept that, and be ready for to win. That's what you're trying to do, is win. That's what you're trying to do.
Because
Chris better be ready for that buyout.
Yeah,
I said that too, Shy. I said that too, because I was like, is this, that was one of my first comments when we were talking about it. Is this a buyout? Are they going to buy him out? And the way they talking, the way Chris Paul talking, he's like, no, they ain't buying me out. We finna play some basketball here.
Yeah, they always talk like that in the beginning.
Look at Dwayne Wade when he was Chicago. We gonna play. Next thing you know, he signed with the Cavaliers on the minimum, then going back to Miami. But Chris Paul's not starting with his team. If he's gonna run that second unit, that which means now Kuminga, Moody, the guy they just drafted from Santa Clara, those 3-4 guys, Lamb, Jeremy Lamb, I think that's who was also on the bench. Gary Payton the second. He's gonna run that second unit. And on the problem with that, their style is chaotic, organized chaos, and up tempo. They had shots at other. They had the top 3 pace in the league. Chris Paul, bottom 6. So that's gonna be a total contrast with what Golden State does. So I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like I think if Chris Paul's not doing what he needs to do with that squad, I can see a buyout. I can see a buyout by January, February. I can see it.
Check and see how long Chris Paul has been in the league. I'm interested to see.
18 years. His 18th year.
Yeah, so I mean, he came in with. Didn't he come in? He came in
2005.
No,
2000. 2 years after.
2 years after. Okay.
That's the year the Hawks should have drafted him, but they drafted Marvin Williams.
And then where are they now, File?
And that's that they came in 2005. Got drafted by New Orleans. They got traded to the Clippers in 11. Traded Houston at 17. Then got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 6. This is 17 in his career. 17. It's gonna be interesting. Chris Paul's not gonna start unless Steph is hurt or Clay might need it. They doing load management out there. They're gonna do a Kawhi Leonard. That's what Shot said. That's a new term in the lexicon. Kawhi Leonard. We do a Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm. Like getting mossed. It's a verb now. Kawhi Leonard is a verb now.
He made it famous.
Let's get to a little bit of the recap from the draft. I think Shy has a closer personal viewing of Jet Howard. Am I right, Shot?
Yep.
What do you think about his move to Orlando? Orlando drafting him.
So they did a thing about that in the Sun Sentinel as far as how it affects the Heat. First of all, he comes from an NBA pedigree. He's ultra confident. He's a workaholic. Like I said, I pretty much spent the summer with a couple of NBA people during the COVID time. Situation happened where the trainer wanted to use the gym, and so I really came across all of them guys. Shout out to Uncle Jeff Green, consummate professional. But Jet Howard never missed a session. There was another young player that was there that would always miss a session. And, I'm not going to say who he is, but, when scouts and GMs get a hold to your work ethic, then it's a big deal. But when I tell you, I was in the gym when this kid showed up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to play Jimmy Butler one-on-one. Him and the kid I was telling y'all about, Isaiah Wong, went one-on-one. He's smooth. He's smooth as hell. So they probably heard about his work ethic. I was reading somewhere they say he don't play defense. I find that a little odd because just because of the intensity that he plays the game with. But like he's a legit 6'7", 6'8". He can shoot the rock. He can handle the rock. That open court game in the NBA, that's his game. So I look for him to be in the league for a while. I don't really know how if he's gonna blossom into being more than that, but they got them a good player. I can tell you that.
Yeah, Isaiah Wong went to the Pacers in the second round. I think pick 56 or 58.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see him being a rotation player right now, going behind Halliburton. Unless Halliburton get traded, then you look at possibly moving him up and further in the rotation.
Isaiah Wong he's probably going to be a role player if he stays in the league, spot up shoot or something like that.
First round went where it should have. Victor went 1. Killer Miller went number 2. Scoot Henderson went 3. And the Twins went 4 and 5. This first time 2 brothers got drafted in the same draft in the top 5.
In the top 5. I was going to say in the top 5. Okay.
Top 5, yeah. In the same draft. Of course, the ball boys, the 2 separate drafts. I
was thinking about the Lopez brothers, but go ahead.
Yeah, then you look at the Morris twins. The Rockets traded back up in the first round to draft the other brother to keep them together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they both went to one went to Phoenix. And the crazy story about them, one would get a big deal, one would get a small deal, but they would share the same bank account.
Mm.
So they keep all the money in the family.
Who did that?
The Morris twins.
Oh, okay.
Like one went, I think they still were doing it then because one was signed with the Clippers, one with the Lakers. I think the one with the Lakers signed a minimum deal. The other one got the bigger deal. The other one on the one who played with the Lakers, like, I'm good. I'm rich. My brother rich. I'm rich. So
okay, they must be really close.
It got to be because of I had it to win. I'm like, no, we after we get drafted, you get your own account, dog. No.
My name is Ryan. Your name is Byron. It's two
different names.
This is your money in this account. This is my money in this account.
Look at it. Looking at the draft now. One name that tripped. Jaime Jaquez went to Miami. He's a Miami culture guy because they went up and got him, and he's heat culture. His style is heat culture. The way he was coached by Matt Corona at UCLA fits Miami, so I think that'd be a good fit for him. Cam Whitmore, he dropped a lot. He's projected to go in top 10. He dropped all the way 20 to Houston, which would be a steal for them because they need some size on that team. They need some size with Gerald Green and Jalen Smith, I believe. Now, looking at this, look at the draft. Which one of these players do you think is going to be Rookie of the Year? I know it's early. We just finished the draft. We ain't seen workouts. We ain't seen how roster construction. None of this stuff. Who do you see as a Rookie of the Year right now? Ryan didn't go shot.
I'm gonna go ahead with the obvious choice. How you say his name?
Wembanyama.
Yeah, Wembanyama. He's excited. He seems to be the pick of the litter right now. Seems to be the obvious choice. I say that with an asterisk because I want to see Summer League. He said he want to play Summer League. I want to see him play. I want to see him play versus some dogs, as shots say. I want to see him play because the thing about playing in Summer League, you get a lot of rookies, but you also get a lot of kids that undrafted kids that get on these rosters, and they trying to catch somebody's eye so they can make another roster, even if they don't make that team's roster. So they gonna come at him, especially when you ain't got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I'm gonna give it to him, but I want to see Summer League.
All right, shot.
Shot may be out for a minute.
I don't want to go with the obvious. I'm gonna go with somebody that's. I'm looking at possibly.
Am I back?
Yeah, you got you.
Yeah.
We're asking who you think is Rookie of the Year out of this class. Who's your choice for Rookie of the Year? Even I know it's early and everything, but who you think has the best chance to be Rookie of the Year right now?
I'm gonna go with Amen Thompson because the Rockets are a mess, and with him being 6'7", 6'8", you know, they can keep him on the floor. He's ultra athletic. You know, I mean, Wembanyama, I haven't seen him enough. Like Strauss said, I'm curious to see what happens in the Summer League. I think Brandon Miller got too many other people over there in Houston for him to get the shots required for him to be Rookie of the Year.
No, he in Charlotte. He in Charlotte. Brandon Miller in Charlotte.
Yeah, he in Charlotte. He got to deal with LaMelo, right?
Yeah, he Houston.
No, I'm talking about Brandon Miller.
Yeah, he's in Charlotte. Yeah. Okay, got you. My bad. Got you.
So you know the thing. I think Miller might have a chance simply because of the fact that I don't think LaMelo gonna play this year.
Well, if he don't play, I'm going by current situation because you still got LaMelo, and then you got my man over there that ball right next to LaMelo. What's his name?
God, I gotta see his face.
Terry Rozier.
Yeah, Terry Rozier. That's another thing. Like, man, I was in the gym with Terry Rozier. Man, I didn't even pick him on my fantasy team the year before, but I should have known, bro. Like, they was when you got the NBA guys talking about him from a workout the day before, like, yo, he been killing it in the pickup games. Some should have told me, like, pick him up. Like, real, when you get that kind of respect, like, he don't care about playing alongside Melo. He gonna do his thing. But that's why I think because of Terry Rozier and Melo, I don't think he'll have enough to get enough shots he need. And I think Scoot Henderson is the best bucket getter in the draft. I think he just get buckets, but he ain't finna get buckets over there with Anthony Harder. What was it? Not Harder.
Anthony Simons.
Simons.
Yeah.
And then what's the other kid that emerged late for Portland? And then they shut him
Shaden
down.
Sharp.
Yeah,
Sharp.
him and Dane. He not, so he can't. So I would go with Amen Thompson because the Rockets are a mess.
Yeah, you got
And they're gonna put the ball in his hands. He's a PG. He's a 6'6", 6'7" PG. So he's gonna have the ball in his hands.
all right. Houston, just make sure staff. Just make sure you got Find My Friend on your phone for your wife. Houston, Houston staff members.
Oh God,
Too soon.
I forgot he's over there.
Too soon.
Boy, you ain't got no filter, bro. Like this.
Then he in Houston. Drake made a song. Houston, Las Vegas. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you ain't got no filter. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Do we have time to talk about Lad Dragon? We're gonna have to push that net week, Ryan.
We got five good minutes. We got 5 good minutes.
What you think, Shot?
Man, I barely watched The Last Dragon when it was popular. I just remember the flea market Chinese shoes. And I ain't really like the dude because he was a pretty dude.
Yeah, I think we better wait to next week on this one, because reason being, because when you start talking about the guy, what's the guy's name? Tamok. When you start talking about him, he has 2 memorable roles in his life. 2.
Different World and Lad Dragon.
I didn't even know he was in a different world. So like I said, I'm not the one to talk about this movie.
Season 2. He's on season 2 of Different World.
Yep.
It's old with. He played a character that was date raping women, but that's neither there. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah.
Killed him.
Killed his career. Killed his career. A black man raping women in the 80s. Oh yeah, you ain't getting nothing else, dog. He's throwing nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know why he took that gig. But hey,
trying to get back on top, baby. Trying to get it back on top. They ain't gonna do me wrong. It's us. It's us, y'all. They ain't gonna do me wrong.
What was his name? Leon or Tomba? What they call him?
Tamok.
Yeah, like I said, I barely watched it.
Yeah, go ahead and watch it.
I pretty much fast forward to all, what is it? Sheila E. Parks?
Vanity.
Yeah, see, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Let me see your card, bro. Let me see your card.
Bro, The Last Dragon, I was outside. Like, that was back when we was going outside. I was outside.
Yeah. I was outside too. I was
outside too, but when that one came on, it usually come on Sunday. It would come on Sunday right before wrestling for me in Columbus, Georgia. I was like, man, let me just sit here and watch it. But when it came on, it was one of the movies. And the funny thing about that movie, man, and I not trying to get into it since we're gonna talk about it next week. This was kind of Barry Gordy's last gasp, if you with Motown, you know what I mean? This is one of them things where he was, trying to still get back to that level he had with the Temptations and Marvin Gaye and all them on the label, So it is got some interesting points in it. Yeah, we next week.
All right, let's get to our partner shot. Ryan, what you got?
Man, let me pull one out of here. Man, shouts out to the airline. I just talked about this, but shouts out to the airlines. Y'all gonna get it right one day. Safe travels to your shot. I know you going out of town. Y'all gonna get it right. Barry Gordy's last gag. To see that, you're not trying to overcharge people, even though you're short staffed everywhere. You're still trying to do it and get people where they want to get to, especially in this climate of vacationing. 4th of July right around the corner. So to the airlines and all the people flying, hey, be patient, and they're going to get you where you need to go. You might not get there when you want to get there, but be patient, and they're going to get you where you're trying to get to.
All right. Shot, what you got?
Man, I'm up here looking up Tamar. I remember the dude now. Yeah, I remember he was a pretty dude. But Show Enough was the dude I thought you were talking about. So the last time we did I did my Black Thought, you wasn't on here, Straw. I was talking about whataboutisms, right? And I felt like I didn't really give y'all the full scope because as I got off, I was having technical difficulties and I started reading some more on it. And I was pissed off that I didn't really give y'all the full scope. Straw, what I was talking about when they say whataboutisms is when you have predominantly white people playing prominent black roles. And I went and talked about, if you Google Cleopatra, Elizabeth Taylor shows up, right? And then West Side Story was the movie about the Puerto Rican neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not one Puerto Rican played any of the actors.
Right.
So as I looked up some of,
oh man, he was going good too. He was going good too. Come on back, Shot. Come on back. I want to hear this. Can't wait.
God.
Go on. Fabe, come on, Fabe.
I don't have a party shot. I'm just saying, doing a live stream on Tuesday with my other podcast, Council Connection. We're going to be talking about state of education right now, post COVID, and school council responsibilities. In the sense of fair share versus non-counseling tasks. That's going to be my podcast on Tuesday. It's going to be a special live stream, so I'm going to start live streaming my counseling podcast and strip the audio from that and use that and still do the podcast. But I'm thinking I'm doing a live stream version of my podcast going forward and just use the audio from it for my podcast.
Good deal.
We
talk about Damien's podcast.
Yeah, I did that at the beginning of the show. Make sure you check out Damien's podcast. It drops a Tuesday, Wednesday. I want him to be in the barbershop live, getting a haircut, but not from Atwater.
He get Michael Atwater a haircut if you want to.
Yeah, you want to. See. But y'all be good out there. We're gonna see you on Wednesday. That might be our last on Sunday, probably next Sunday be our last episode before we take a summer break.
All right.
Okay, so we'll holler at you. All right, we'll holler at y'all. We out.
Be safe. Be blessed.